DevilNeverCry.
What is up, everybody? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and we are back with another DMC5 Special Edition video, tackling Vergil Must Die, Mission 11, and getting that sweet, sweet S rank. Now, this isn't really much of a guide, though it could be used as one. It's more of just an excuse to talk about DMC and other adjacent titles, but I digress. I'm a little bit under the weather at the moment, which is why I may sound a little strange, so apologies if I sound like a weird caricature of myself. That is not the intention. Now, at the end of this fight, at the end of this mission, we're going to have Cavaliere Angelo, everyone's favorite boss for this game, one of my favorites, if not my favorite. And you'll have noticed that in some of my other videos, I've done some more of the more challenging runs or attempts at that boss. You know, going with the Royal Guard, Dante Must Die, no weapons run of that fight, which you can find on the channel. I've done a Duel of the Angelos with Vergil like a year or so ago, where we go for some of the more fancy parries and no damage attempts. At the end of this mission, though, we're gonna feature a nice raw, uncut, uncensored, just destruction of that boss, and I mean destruction in the sense of it's just mashed down to pieces. And I can't remember if I get the no damage on it. I don't think I do, but we systematically destroy it. And it doesn't matter, because at the end of this, even if we did die, which we don't, we have over 7,000 style points, smashed the 6,000 style point goal. So yeah, style is not a worry. And I do hope that with whatever comes next for DMC, because I know everybody and their mother's waiting with bated breath to figure out just what is going to happen next, I hope they don't use this streamlined style system, or the mission ranking system that we have in DMC5, which is incredibly opaque, if that makes sense. It's not very transparent in how the points are accumulated. I hope they go for more of a DMC1 or even DMC3 approach to the mission ranking. Avoid DMC4s. I don't want an orb requirement. That is the fucking catastrophic failure of a mission ranking system. I think most people will agree. But I hope they don't go for the streamlined approach like they do here, and that will hopefully help alleviate some of the woes that we've had with some of the busted missions when it comes to the ranking systems. But I say busted, that's contested. I think it's personally done like that by design, considering they never fixed it, despite the fact that a lot of people were on social media talking about how busted it fucking was. But hey ho, I digress. We're gonna make quick work of this Fury. This is actually the mission they showed at TGS, where they first showed Dante and showed Dante gameplay. And funnily enough, a tidbit of information here. Producer Matt Walker actually was the one that chose to have Dante on the motorcycle appear at the end of the reveal trailer. The team initially wanted to have that scene from Mission 10 where Dante is, pondering whether it really is or isn't Vergil, which I think would have been fantastic. But then it wouldn't have spawned the glorious Joey Wheeler Dante meme that you see with the old man hobo Dante at the end of the reveal trailer. But it is what it is. I almost get lost here at one point, and I end up wailing on that orb. Not combat adjudicator, what is it? Just the orb cache, which I quickly don't do anymore because I've got a substantial amount of orbs. I no longer need to collect them at this point. And I get lost, and then I realize, oh well, there's another vein we need to just absolutely destroy down here. And I like the verticality of this mission. Obviously, some of the other missions are expansive horizontally, where you travel and traverse from place to place, but this is a little bit more compact as you go up and down these ruined buildings. As we avoid all these encounters, and we've got a Judeca coming up, as we avoid the hentai tentacles, which again we make quick work of. We are on the hardest difficulty here, need I remind you, but all in all, it's a pretty big joke, especially when you factor in things like the super moves and everyone's favorite camera manipulation strats, which I've talked about to no end. But we're coming up on a bit of a drought when it comes to new DMC news and information. Something interesting though, some of you may have noticed if you've tuned into some of my streams or watched the previous video that I did on Solstice, you'll have realized that I finally picked up that DevilNeverCry neon sign that I've been banging on about for quite some time. It's pretty cool. It's the sign you see on the side of Nico's van here in DMC5. I opted to go for that one instead of the red one, simply because they didn't have the red one in the correct font, I believe, and they didn't have the Trish logo, which you see obviously on the front of Dante's shop. And so we go with the blue sign, which I'm wondering if they're going to keep going forward. Could you imagine if DMC had a black and blue motif from the beginning? I think it would have been quite weird, you know? Obviously not as weird as the fact that Vergil doesn't have a bloody double jump, even though he's supposed to be the more powerful brother, I suppose, even though that's, again, contested, considering he lost to Dante in the past. And who knows how it would have ended if Nero didn't interject at the end of DMC5. So we take an absolute stunner of a hit. We are going to take a substantial amount of damage, and this encounter does make me sweat a little bit. DNC here out of practice, but we make quick work of this encounter. For some reason, I thought there were going to be a bunch of hellbats that spawn up in here. I distinctly remember them in some of the other difficulties, but they don't make an appearance here. And so this was made quite a lot easier as we get hit out of the V move, which is annoying. You have to lock on to use that move, and of course by locking on you'll have an enemy front and center in the camera, allowing them to start an attack animation, which is great. Wonderful. It means that you can't cheese it with camera manipulation, use that move safely unless you've knocked down an enemy, or you've put a substantial amount of distance between you and the enemy, which in a lot of cases doesn't really matter because the enemy's got attacks that will close that gap in an instant, you know? Faster than you can say Mundus did nothing wrong at that. But the, I guess, the Bayonetta series is the last bastion, I suppose, for character action games. That's the only sort of high-profile game that we know of, that we have solid information of, that is said to be releasing quite soon. As mentioned, DMC, there is no info to be seen. But imagine, hopefully the next installment is underway, though if I am to take an educated guess, I do think Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be the next Itsuno project, but that is not to say that another team has not picked up DevilNeverCry 6 or whatever to be developed concurrently with Dragon's Dogma 2. Who knows, perhaps Dragon's Dogma 2 will be a character action game. Maybe it will be, you know, DMC with some RPG-esque elements to it. You never know. As we make quick work of this nobody here. I think Vergil's, to this day, even looking at some of the more modern games like this game's animations are just fantastic. And I think looking back at the series, as I have recently, as I've been posting up GIFs and information on Twitter and stuff, the animation quality for these games is absolutely astounding at times, especially for the time they were released. Even DMC 1, you know, with that video that I put out previously talking about some of the details you might have missed. The animations that Dante has and the care and attention to detail that was provided all the way back in 2001 is crazy, especially considering some games released, you know, in this era of consoles don't have animations sort of as detailed as that, which is hard to believe. As we get into the Cavaliere Angelo fight, we dodge our way through, do some rolling, keep rolling. Vergil's a big old Limp Bizkit fan. And we make quick work of this enemy. As mentioned, the Cavaliere Angelo, of course, is a failed Angelo that Mundus created and then disposed of, sort of like a prototype. Uses Trish as a battery, as the host, if that makes sense. And without Trish, it turns into a lifeless puppet. For those of you that don't know some of the lore. But yeah, this game, as mentioned, does have some interesting ties to DMC 1. Hopefully they put out some sort of compendium, you know, similar to the Final Fantasy series where they have the Ultimania books, I believe, which is, you know, chock full of information on the games and some of the story and the lore and whatnot. And I'm hoping maybe one day they do a massive one for the entire DMC series. Could you imagine? You know, 5,000, no, actually no, 5,000 pages is excessive. Maybe 500 pages or something crazy like that. Nice thick hard book you can have on your coffee table to impress people. And they look at you like a fucking weeb wondering what you're doing. Reading about a silverhead, katana wielding, half devil, half human. As we use the world of V here to finish this off, absolutely poetic, some may say. That is the end of the mission, and that is our S rank. So, with all that said and done, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next video.